one of the most important things I would recommend you don't do is go into a painting absolutely cold and not have any idea what you're going to be doing, because it's quite a daunting task. However, saying that, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing and today. So I'm looking at this canvas and I'm thinking possibly Seascape. You know, if you want to know what size canvas, well, this is not a canvas actually, it's a bit of cardboard, but if you want to know what I'm painting on, it's approximately 12 by 16, 12 by 15. It's just a size that I have. And normally my smaller paintings, this is that cut in half basically. So I'm going to put not so much an horizon line today. I'm going to put a line on just a slight angle like this. There we are. And that's going to give me already an idea of what I'm going to be painting as he snaps his pencil at the same time. So I'm thinking today now mainly Seascape, possibly a Seascape today. So I just got to sharpen this pencil. There we are. Oh, that pencil is absolutely useless. Let's see if I've got another pencil. There we go. So I'm thinking big wave. I don't want sky today. I just want sea. I want a sea. I want a nice wave. Maybe something coming down like this. So that could be the sea line then. You know, there's a little wave there, a little wave right there that's coming down like this. This is big old mighty, big lump of foam type of thing, and that's coming down like this, like that. And we maybe have a water line, something like that, and that could be a little bit of sand. We could put a rock or something there like this, and maybe just a few little rocks and doers like that, and that's basically all we want to do today. We could put some foam patterns in. There we are. So that's just an idea. That's but it's always good. It's an always good idea to actually plan what you're painting. I put a priming coat on there, and I've also toned that with like a yellow ochre type of colour. The colours I'm using today are Prussian blue, ultramarine blue, a little bit of phthalo green, some yellow ochre, some burnt umber, a lamped black that I made myself, and a little bit of white. So I don't want anything too dark, so I'm going to bring some of this ultramarine blue a little bit into that Prussian blue. I'm going to get some white and I'm going to lighten that up to a colour that I'm looking for. Maybe that's a lovely colour. Maybe we want that a little bit darker, so I'm just going to drag a little bit more of that in, just like that, just to darken that up a little bit. There you go. And I'm just going to get that straight in on the canvas like this. Canvas or canvas paper, you can paint on anything really, as long as it's not shiny or too greasy. And I'll show you a little tip in a second of what we can do to actually allow our paint to stay a little bit more retarded, is the word I think I'm looking for. We don't want it to dry out so quick, so there's something we can add to our paint that is available to all of us in any supermarkets or stores or shops or wherever in the world you live. It's going to be available to you, because it does tend to dry a little bit quick on. It does tend to dry a little bit quicker on paper and things. I'm just going to check to see if I've got much glare. I've got a little bit of glare coming off that one light there. I'm not sure which light it is. Not sure which light it is. It could be that one there. It looks like that one. I need to turn that one down a touch. There we go. So that might have helped. So I'm just getting a little bit of lightness into this water like this. A bit more of that dark colour coming in there like this. I don't like painting too thickly with acrylics. I've gone quite thin with my paint. So I think it's because I've been painting a lot on cardboard that I found this little way of being able to control my paint flow the way I want it. So I'm going to get a little bit of phthalo green now, a little bit of moisture, just using ordinary plain old tap water, nothing special. I'm just going to put a little bit of green tinge into this water area, just like that. A little bit of green, and there we go. A little bit of green. I can come back to that in a second. So this green, I'm going to add a little bit of white. I'm going to bring some of this blue into it. I'm going to bring this down. Like I said, I want a little bit of water coming in down here. So this is going to come in. This is on the beach area. There we go. Just adding a bit of this in. And I love this stage when everything looks messy and all over the shop, and you're thinking, you know, am I going to be able to do this painting? Is this going to turn out the way I want it to turn out? And then we don't know until we actually proceed with it. So what's what I quite like about paintings like this is we really don't know what's going to happen, but we've got an idea. I'm going to get a little bit of this yellow ochre and burnt umber, and I'm just going to darken up. Got a little bit of that green left in my brush. I'm just going to lighten and darken areas on the beach area, just like this. Bit of moisture, just bringing that in. A little bit darker this side. I'll show you a little tip after that I want to do on you. Something I don't do very often, but it's something you can do if you wanted to. There's a bit of a beach area there now. Look at that bit of colour. There we are. It's lovely, isn't it? Lovely. We can bring a little bit of white into this if we wanted to. Now we wanted to lighten up a few areas. There's a little splurge of light there and here and there, there and here and here, there and everywhere. There we go. Wow, look at that. I'm going to dry that now with a hairdryer because I want this really dry before I do the next stage. So first of all, I'm going to get this is just a little filberty brush. Is that any good? I don't know. I'm just going to get a short flat. Have I got a short flat here I can use? There we are. I'll use this short flat. So I want to make some shadowy colour. Let's get some of this. Let's get some of this Prussian blue. I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine blue to that. I'm going to add some of this yellow ochre to that. Add a bit of white to that. A bit of burnt umber, a bit more blue. Just get a. This is not any particular colour, by the way. I'm just whacking in paint to try and get some aqua-y looking colour. I don't know what it is. Any old colour really. Just getting this type of shadow colour that I'm looking for. So I want to start I'm twisting, turning it, making little tiny little circles with my brush, and I'm just trying to find this shape that I'm looking for. Just like this. I want to make it a bit bigger actually. pulling the bottom down just a little bit like this, just so I can get this type of shape in. That's going to come down. It's rolling like that. Maybe there's another little bit of a doer there like this. It's a bit like putting a cloud in the sky with the shadow before you put your highlights on. There's another bit of a doer there, just like that, and that's coming down just like that then. I'm just going to put a few shadowy marks just in the water area there, like this, because this is going to come onto the beach. There we are. Let's get a bit of burnt umber back into that. A bit of burnt umber and Prussian blue, by the way. If you've got burnt umber and Prussian blue, you'll make a lovely black with that. Burnt umber and Prussian blue make a black. There you go. I'm going to put just get the brush like this and just twist your brush. Just don't think too much about shape. Rocks and really rocks, some of them are round, some of them aren't round, and just do that type of stuff. There we go. Just do something like that. I'm just scraping the brush down just to get a little bit of shadow, because this is going to be a wet area there. So that's just a shadow roughly of the rock just reflecting in the water there. So we need to think of these things. We're also going to have a couple of rocks. We said, didn't we? A couple of little rocks and things there. Maybe there's another one just coming off there like this. There we go. Very good. Very good. Let's get our brush, our big brush that we painted this painting with originally. I'm going to get some ultramarine blue now. I'm going to thin that right down. Because you can do this with cardboard and paper. You can't do this so much with canvas because of the fact that it will peel, but it won't peel on this. I'm just going to put a light wash just over there like that, just to give it a bit of a glow. Just a very light wash of ultramarine blue. There we go. Getting a bit of this green now. Where's that phthalo green? Same thing. A nice wash of phthalo green. Maybe just over a little bit of that, like that. So I've got a very dark background. And we need to get a couple of maybe little breakers and things, just like this. Pushing them in there, like that. And I'm going to get the same brush. I'm going to really dry my brush. I'm rubbing that brush onto my trousers because I got these wonderful painting jeans on. And I'm just going to lightly just blend that in, just like that. Just taking some of them sharp edges away. Just like that. Maybe a bit more there, like that. I can show you my painting trousers. Let me just tilt this down. You can look at my painting jeans. When I say I'm drying my brush, I'm literally doing the old Bob Ross technique, but I'm doing it on my trousers. There you go. So we can get a little bit of white now, and we can just, if we wanted to, just touch here and there, just like that, like. Maybe there's a little bit of sea going on there. There you go. Let's go back into our little short flat now. Back into this colour. And now we're going to put a bit more light in. We need to get that a little bit darker under there, actually. Let's get that a little bit darker. There we go. Just a little bit of a darker shadow there. There we are. Let's get some of this lighter colour now. Oop, add a little bit of white. Just place in some of this white onto that, making our, building our foam pattern up. Not like that. Again, some of this darker colour of blue, a bit of green, blue and green, green and blue. Just getting that across there, just like that. Let's add a few different colours. Try and get a bit of a watermark going on here now, like this. Get some of that green over there. A bit of blue. Think of waves and things when you're doing this type of painting. Think of waves and things. Just get a bit of shadow there. It's all highlights and shadows and highlights, midtones. Bit of think, a little bit of thought. Just a little bit of thought. All helps to build an illusion. This is all painting is an illusion. Because when we stand back, we see things that are not really there. And that's the truth. That's what makes a good painting. It's you can paint something that's not really there. Your mind makes these piece patterns and shapes up in your mind's eye. It's a wonderful thing, is art. Art is a wonderful, wonderful thing. You can see I wanted that nice dark effect there. And a little bit of lightness into this water there now, just like that, a little bit of moisture. A little bit of moisture goes a long way. Get some dark. Just Prussian blue. Just Prussian blue. Put a little bit of shadow under those there like that. A little shadow in between. A bit of shadow. Just get a little bit of shadow just behind. I want to get a little bit darker. Just behind these waves there, because what's going to happen, the white, the lightness is going to stand out. That's what I'm looking for, is that white is going to stand out from the background when we put the highlights on these waves. A little bit of green, a bit of this bit of phthalo green coming in there now, just to give that bit of colour. Lightly going over those wavelets now, just to knock them back a bit, just to touch them, just to take that brightness away, just like that. We don't have to worry. You can put loads of these little doers in. I'm not going to do loads. I want you to experiment with this. So I'm not going to do loads. You do loads. You do as much as you like. I'm not going to do that today. I want you to experiment. Now this colour we made there, I want to lighten that up. I want to put a few highlights onto these rocks now. Just like this. Maybe get that a little bit. There. We'll work on that in a second. I don't know what I'm missing. Maybe something there. No, I want to clean that. I want to get a bit more shadow there. I'm going to show you a neat trick in a minute. Woo, lovely jubbly, lovely. What I'm going to do now is just give myself a water line. Bit of foam coming in like this. Think of these, think of the water. Think of the shape of the water. It's just flowing in onto the beach. And a lot of foam. A lot of foam. Big crashing waves. Just put in some, continuing to put some foam in. How easy is that? Isn't it lovely? I love painting seascapes. I really do. I love painting seascapes on a bigger scale because you can get more. You get more of this this wonderful ability to be able to get these big crashing waves and things. Let's get that foam just on these. Crashing waves, there we go. A little tiny green in there. A little bit of green in there. Maybe just a little bit of green in there as well. Like that. Let's get some more of this lovely foam. Some bright white tips. Well, don't overdo that. Just a little bit of brightness where you think this a lot of air in this water. That's what causes it to be foamy as the water spins around and spits out to the sea as it rolls. And as it rolls, it's gathering and it bends over on its own weight. And then you get all this air mixed in with the water flow. And this big wave comes down. You get this big wave comes down there. There you go. Let's get a little bit of this green. Just in there like that. A bit of the shadow colour. Just underneath the wavelets like this. A little bit of shadow colour. There you go. Let's get a script lining brush, which we've got here. There we go. Let's get some burnt umber. No, not burnt umber. Prussian blue. Prussian blue. And put some shadow marks in. Very quick. Simple type of seascape. There we go. Just put a few of these little owners in. Get some white now. Brush with your finger like that. cheat a little bit. You can use your finger, especially on cardboard, it's fine. You can't use your finger on everything, but sometimes you can get away with it. If you're going to use your finger like that, there's grease spots in your finger, so be careful with that. But if you varnish your painting afterwards, then you shouldn't have a problem. And some people say to me, how long does a painting last, Clive? How long? Well, we don't know. The truth of it is, nobody knows how long an acrylic painting will last, because acrylics have only been around since 1950 odd. So that's the reason why we don't know how long paintings in acrylics will actually last. There we go. A bit of a seascape painting. I'm going to get some white paint on a brush. Now if you want to do more to that there, you can. Please do. Please do that. Do you just make this up? I'm just giving you an idea of how to paint something. I want you to be able to pick up your brush and try and create a little seascape painting like this and have a bit of fun. And don't worry if it doesn't go to plan. If it doesn't go to plan, that's fine. Because we all have to make mistakes. We have to make mistakes. We have to. Otherwise we're not going to be able to learn. That's why we can all walk, because we all fell over when we were children. And I've said that many, many, many moons. Many, many moons. There we go. Nothing has to be complicated. Bit of brown now, just on these rocks. Just a bit of brown, bit of burnt umber, just to lift out these rocks a touch like that. Nothing has to be complicated. Not in Clive's world. Not in my world. I don't complicate things. I just like to have fun and enjoy my painting. There you go. Bit of sandcastle there if you want to. Bit of sandcastle there if you want to. How easy is that? I want a simple, easy seascape. Like I said, if you want to put a few more bits of foam and stuff in, just to give it a bit of a lift, then please do that. Just to give it a little bit of a rolling sea effect. There we go. Just a few little wavelets and things like that. Just to lift that. The other thing we can do very, very quickly is put another little shadow line. If you do something like that, always put a little bit of a shadow line under there. There we go. Bring a little bit of this down. Put some patterns in the water. There we go. Do that. Lifts it. Lifts it. A little bit of shadow mark. Just like that. Again, you can get your white paint and you can put a few of these little foamy patterns, just like that. Please, please, please experiment. Don't be too tight when you're doing something. Don't do lines like this. You know, just be very loose. Hold the brush at the very end and just let the paintbrush do its job. And if it's something you don't like, just get your finger very quickly, smooth it in like that. Before you know it. Got wonderful effects that you can get like that. A painting is a work of art. There's always somebody that'll buy your work off you. There you go. I'm just going to get a little bit of shadow before I finish. I want to say thank you very much for joining me in the studio. Don't forget, I upload every Monday at 7:30 PM Greenwich Mean Time every Monday. There's also some shorts on the videos as well, so if you see this video and it's very quick, then it's a short. So there we go. Let's just get some bit more detail just on these. You can get some really thick white, titanium white, and you can bring in some more little foam patterns like this. You can spend hours and literally hours on a seascape painting and building and building and building, getting your foam patterns going. It's so detailed, a seascape painting. Even the most basic seascape paintings can be very, very detailed if you just give it enough time. So try not to do a painting in the same time scale as I do it, because I'm just doing them for you too. There we are. There's a simple little seascape painting for you. Give it a try and let me know how you get on. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, send me a comment and give me a thumbs up. I read most comments and I find it very hard to try and respond to the comments, but just bear in mind that I do read them. So thank you very much. I'll see you next time.